Have you ever been in the shower or on a walk or just lying in bed and suddenly you're in the middle of a full conversation that hasn't happened? You're arguing with someone, you're explaining yourself, you're saying the perfect thing at the perfect moment. And then you snap out of it and you're just standing in your kitchen holding a spoon. Yeah, that. Most people do this and just move on, but some people, and if you clicked on this, I'm guessing you're one of them, do it a lot, like constantly. And I don't think that's random. I think it says something real about how your mind works. Not in a bad way, just in a way worth understanding. So let's actually get into it. The first thing I want to say is that your brain is not broken for doing this. It's actually doing something really natural. Humans have always used imagination to prepare. You picture a hard conversation before it happens. You run through how something might go wrong. Your brain is trying to help you. It's rehearsing. The problem, if there is one, is when the rehearsal never stops. When you're not preparing for something real, you're just running scenes. Old arguments, situations that will probably never happen, conversations with people who aren't even in your life anymore. And at some point, it stops being preparation and starts being something else entirely. Here's what I think is actually going on. People who do this a lot tend to feel things pretty deeply. And I don't mean that in a poetic way. I mean when something bothers them, it really bothers them. When someone says something off, they don't just shake it off, it sticks, it sits there. And the fake scenario is kind of the brain's way of trying to process it. Like you didn't get to say what you wanted to say in that moment. So now at 2 a.m., your brain is giving you a second shot. You finally get to explain yourself. You finally get to be understood. The conversation in your head goes the way it should have gone. That's not crazy. That's actually pretty human. The brain is looking for a resolution that real life didn't give it. But here's the thing. The resolution never quite lands, does it? Because the other person isn't really there. So the loop just keeps going. There's another layer to this, and it's a little uncomfortable to say out loud. A lot of people who imagine fake scenarios are also really aware of how they come across to others. Like they think about perception a lot, how they're being read, whether they said something weird, whether that thing they did 3 years ago still crosses someone's mind. And the fake scenarios kind of feed that. You're not just rehearsing, you're trying to control outcomes you can't actually control. You want to know what someone thinks of you, so you write the scene where you find out. You want to feel prepared, so you imagine every possible version of how something could go. It's exhausting when you think about it, and most people who do it would admit that. It doesn't really make them feel better, it just feels impossible to stop. Now here's where it gets interesting. This kind of imagination, this constant scene building, it's actually linked to creativity. Not always, but often. People who live in their heads like this tend to be good at making things, stories, ideas, solutions, because their brain is already practiced at building full worlds out of nothing, at filling in details, at imagining how people feel and what they might say. A lot of writers do this. A lot of people who are good with people do this. They've already played out so many social scenarios in their head that they have a kind of instinct for how conversations go. It's not magic, it's just a lot of mental rehearsal. So there's something real here that isn't just anxiety. It's a kind of mental range. The problem is that range doesn't come with an off switch. And that's the part nobody talks about enough, because when this gets heavy, when the scenarios are all worst case or all about things you can't fix, or all about people who've already left, it stops being useful. It becomes its own kind of trap. You're not solving anything, you're just replaying. And the more you replay it, the more real does imagined scenarios start to feel. You'll have a whole emotional reaction to something that never happened. You'll feel the anger or the embarrassment or the relief fully from a conversation that existed only in your own head. And then you have to come back to actual real life, which is messier and slower and doesn't give you the right words at the right time. Real life kind of loses when it's competing with a version of events you fully scripted. So what do you do with this? And I'm not gonna give you a 5-step plan because that's not really what this is. But I think the honest answer is you have to get curious about what the scenario is actually about. Not the surface of it, not who said what, but what you're really looking for underneath it. Because usually it's one of a few things. You want to feel understood. You want to feel like you handled something well. You want closure from something that never gave it to you. You want to feel safe going into something scary. Those are all real needs. The fake scenario isn't the problem. It's just the symptom. Your brain found this one way to try to meet those needs, and it just stuck. And when you actually name the need underneath, when you go, okay, I keep replaying this because I still feel like I wasn't heard, the loop tends to lose a little of its grip. Not immediately, but a little. The people who do this the most are usually the people who feel things the most, who think carefully about others, who care how things go. Those aren't bad traits. They just come with a brain that doesn't always know when to stop working. And if that's you, you're not overthinking because something's wrong with you. You're overthinking because your mind is genuinely trying to take care of you. It's just doing it in the only way it figured out how.